I think anybody can be a leader. The question is, good leader or bad leader? Being a leader is a choice, and it's something that we can all aspire to do, but it takes great skill to be a good leader.
Well, there really is, again, a long, rich history of not only service from those that were elected, including to the highest office in the country, President Lincoln, to one of the highest offices in the United States Senate, where Senator Dirksen served as minority leader, to one of the highest offices in the House of Representatives, where Congressman Michel served as the longest serving House Republican leader, 14 years. And those kinds of opportunities for leadership don't just happen. They happen because the people really work hard within the institution to make it happen, to develop the relationships, to engender the kind of support that it takes to get elected to those positions.
We've been very fortunate in our area. We've had two minority leaders of both the Senate and the House coming from Central Illinois. I mean, Everett Dirksen and Bob Michel. And they're both regarded so highly in terms of the skill that they had in really leading their caucus. And they did it by the same time maintaining relationships on the other side of the aisle. That's a key.
When I think about those individuals and how within really a small radius here in Central Illinois, they all were, you know, that's where they got their foundation as public officials. And again, I think it goes back to just the sense of community, the sense of family, the sense of hard work and what that means. And those were attributes that made Dirksen who he was.
He was admirable, he was strong, and he was trustworthy. And we all want to be inspired by somebody like that. And Everett Dirksen was very successful.
Much of Everett Dirksen's success derives from a quality sadly lacking today, and that is Everett Dirksen respected his political opponents. And we have evidence for that in the archives in an exchange of letters in September 1959 with Everett Dirksen and Lyndon Johnson. That Dirksen-Johnson relationship gave birth in the 1960s to such landmark legislation as the Nuclear Test Ban Treaty of 1963, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Our nation owes a debt to the respect between Everett Dirksen and Lyndon Johnson, a foundation to the success of politics in that era.
And this type of leadership that was provided during the time, perhaps, of the Civil Rights Bill really came from the top. It came from Lyndon Johnson, continuing to reach out to Southern Democrats, conservative Democrats, continuing to use Senator Dirksen in a way that he was able to bring along conservative Republicans. And in order for major legislation to be passed, there has to be compromise. There has to be give and take.
I don't think you should ever violate your principles, but I think that you should be open to other ways of getting things done. And so you always need to listen. I mean, a good leader needs to listen. And I always describe it as empathetic listening. I need to be in your shoes and to feel kind of what you're feeling and to say, why is that important to you? Tell me why that means so much.
And it's a 24-hour job, all day, every day, all year, every year.
And here you have Everett Dirksen from Pekin, Illinois, becoming Senate Minority Leader, working with Lyndon Johnson to pass a civil rights bill, to give civil rights to all of our citizens. I think that is about as high an honor and achievement of leadership that I can think of in many of the people that I have watched and paid attention to in politics.
to realize that being a leader is hard work, that you have to be committed to being a student of leadership, because my goodness, you never know everything. And you have to have the humility to be able to see that. You will not go as fast or as successful by yourself. We're all better together.